play.
Alrighty.
We just got out of The Identical.
The Identical.
Probably the most enjoyable bad movie I've seen in a while.
It's true. We, among another friend of his,
who decided not to join us at this.
Unfortunately, joined us. And the three of us were the only ones in the theater.
It was a hell of a good time.
Yeah, we just sat in the back and made comments. That's about it. I think we were the only ones in the entire theater aside from the staff that was closing up.
Well, let's get this started off. Welcome to another midnight showing.
As if you've watched our other movies, you might know that there's something completely different about me. I had a miscommunication with my usual barber.
Yeah. As always, I'm Kelly.
I'm DJ.
And enjoy his horribly bad, actually not that bad haircut.
It's not that bad. It just feels weird to have it not be blowing in the wind after coming out of a bad movie.
Well, one thing's for sure. We definitely need to show off.
We stopped at the concession stand, and first he bought one, and then I was talked into doing it too. Special edition Guardians of the Galaxy cups. Star-Lord, if you can't see them, there's Star-Lord
With the Infinity Stone.
And Rocket Raccoon. I wish they had more like Groot, which I would have totally gotten. Kelly actually got the last Star-Lord they had, which they used.
This is joining the show, by the way.
which they used that one on display and said, "This is the last Star-Lord. Here you go." And they put up a Rocket one. I would have totally gotten Groot. They need more of those.
One second. Let me turn on the Awesome X Volume 1.
So, the thing about this movie is, it wasn't playing at the usual theater we usually go to. If you live in southern Utah,
or within 200 miles of St. George in any direction,
you probably, if you want to go see this movie, you have to see it in Hurricane.
Yeah.
Or Hurricane, depending on who you are.
Yeah, if you... Okay, let's get with the backstory stuff that kind of made me push for us to go to this film. Yes, I pushed for us to go to this film. I was looking for a film to do this midnight showing. And the only other option was Dolphin Tale 2. And here's the quick little thing about Dolphin Tale 2. It sucks. It's just like the first one. And how can it be based on true events if there are two of them? How can you sequelize true stories? It just... Nevertheless, we didn't want to see that one. So we started going through, and just to kind of get my mind off of it, I went to that guy with the glasses, and Brad Jones, you might know him as the Cinema Snob. He does a midnight review show too. He barely posted up a video about We Stand Tall, which is a football thing that's not doing very well at the moment. Sorry, John Caviezel. But
John Caviezel.
He has a really horrible pick in movies. I mean, TV series, Person of Interest is awesome. Movies, you really, after Count of Monte Cristo, you need to maybe fire your manager. But he also put up one called The Identical. What the hell is that? Right. There was no trailers. I've never seen a trailer for this in any of the theaters that we've gone to, and we go to movies every week.
Even if they did put it on TV, like some public access channel like BYU or whatever, I still wouldn't have seen it, because I haven't watched real TV in like pretty much since we got Netflix.
Yeah, I've never seen this one. I don't know where it came from. So I clicked on his video, and they worst movie they've seen all year, but they're laughing, making jokes about it. It actually looked like it would be a fun experience just to see this horribly bad film. So I went looking for this film, and it's not Megaplex, who owns basically all the theaters in all of Utah. I think there's a small chain of AMC's up north, but that's in Salt Lake area. So basically, there's no showings of this in any theater within 200 miles of St. George, except for this independent theater called Coral Cliffs Cinema out in Hurricane, Which,
Oh, hey, there were other people in the theater.
oh my gosh, we weren't the only ones.
Yeah, they're just like walking out, probably going to see Guardians of the Galaxy.
Probably. Yeah, but so I went and looked at it, and they had the showing. It was within at least drivable distance. We got here like 5 or 10 minutes before it showed up, before it started. And yeah, we did a little bit of research, and we looked up some of the stuff on Rotten Tomatoes. It's getting 5%, which I think we are, even Steven, who was with us at the time, basically universally agree. It doesn't deserve that 5%.
Maybe 10%.
Yeah,
But that's about it.
It's a bad film. Don't get us wrong. This is a bad film. It's an okay what if Elvis Presley's dead brother, twin brother.
Elvis Presley fan fiction, maybe.
Yeah, Elvis Presley fan
I
fiction.
honestly thought that's how he described it to me as.
I thought it was all actually about Elvis.
I had just come home from working at Burger King at 8 o'clock, and I had called him because I had texted him while on my break saying, hey, this is one of the days I have off. Maybe we can get together. And then as I was driving home, he called me, and I missed that call, and then I called him back, and he said, want to go see a shitty movie? I'm like, sure! I don't have to work till noon the next day.
Yeah, it was really bad. I'm not going to try to sugarcoat this, but it wasn't enjoyable bad. It played every cliche. I literally started naming off the cliches of what would happen in this setup, and they did it in the movie.
Heart attack cliche. Right as he said, someone's gonna die,
Someone's gonna die.
she died. Oh my gosh.
I can predict the future.
It was weird. Then when it actually happened, he was so perplexed. Oh my gosh.
I was like, wait, she actually died?
Yeah.
What?
We're not laughing about death. We're laughing about the situation.
We're laughing about the fact that I could predict what was going to happen well in advance. I mean, this was like 5 or 6 minutes well before it actually happened, based on just seeing a couple of things.
Yes. So, yeah, the movie is about back in, what was it, the tail end of the Great Depression.
Yeah, it kind of weird like that. When it told you dates, it didn't stick with them very much.
Yeah, it was weird. This mother and this man and this woman are married, and they have 2 twin sons. And the story basically follows them. They basically sell.
They sold one of their sons
because they couldn't afford to take care of both of them. And for some weird reason, they decided to fake the death of the son that they gave away.
Which is it's okay. This is something I just need to get out my chest.
They sold it to a preacher played by Ray Liotta, who you might remember from if you've seen Sin City 2, which again, it brings up an image I didn't need to see in my
and
life.
the entire first part of this movie is shot in black and white, mind you. It almost looks exactly like Sin City, without
like,
the harsher shadows.
I came in, he comes on, and I turned to him like, I know him. I've seen him very recently. And he's like, it's the guy from Sin City 2. I'm like, oh, fuck, not that. And we started laughing. I don't know if Steven had seen Sin City 2.
No. He is Mormon boy, meaning that he does not watch rated R films. He doesn't appreciate swearing every now and then.
Yeah.
Although he will occasionally dip into stuff that he has to repent for later on. He is very, very good like that. Yeah, it's kind of good that he didn't see Sin City, because the entire time I'm trying to take this Christian pastor seriously, but all I keep getting in my mind is some adulterating husband and having sex with a prostitute and ready to shoot her.
Yeah.
Yeah, but no, the story basically follows that the two sons are raised, one by the Christian pastor, one by his actual family, and you don't even see him, but he later becomes Drexel Hemsley, the Dream.
The Dream, which is basically a rock and roll star.
It's Elvis.
Almost like, yeah, Elvis, pretty much.
To get the elephant out of the room, this is not a story about Elvis, but
If you Google Drexel Hemsley, you come up with a synopsis that pretty much starts with the words, "This is not a movie about Elvis."
yeah, it's basically the story of Elvis, but they couldn't buy the rights to Elvis.
I'm pretty sure they were going to make a movie about Elvis and this fan fiction or whatever about being
Well, if they could actually...
twin brothers, but then somebody said they couldn't get the rights to actually having his name.
Yeah,
But they went ahead with it.
I made the joke in the theater about that, because...
They went ahead with it anyway. No, that's the way it feels.
And then they name dropped Elvis halfway through the movie.
It's filmed like that Johnny Cash movie. Pretty much.
Walk the Line, yeah.
Yes, that one.
And that's where 90% of the cliches that I was naming off come
Pretty
from.
much.
It literally was supposed to be a bio movie.
Also, I'm pretty convinced that Ray Liotta's wife in this film was a fucking vampire.
She doesn't age.
Everybody else gets old age makeup.
Except for the main character, Ryan Wade. He doesn't age, and I really don't think that he was 18 at the beginning of the movie when they showed him.
Yeah, she's a fucking vampire. They try to make her look old by redoing her hair, giving her a different wig, and like grandma glasses near the end.
But
that's about it.
There was no prosthetics. There was actual...
nothing.
I mean, I would have taken stage makeup, heavy drawn lines to accent it because it would have looked better and more convincing. She doesn't age to this whole movie.
Forget. I was thinking of the actress's name and then I lost it. Can't remember.
It's not worth it. Other than Ray Liotta and Seth Green, there's really nobody else of note inside of here.
Yeah, Seth Green is in this movie
playing an obnoxious 18-year-old, like in every movie.
film except Guardians of the Galaxy, of course. I'm gonna mention Seth Green did the voice of Howard the Duck at the end of Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yes.
We've already spoiled it for you, so you know what? I'm just going to sit here and say that.
Yes, and he's going to keep reminding me of Howard the Duck.
Just because I love his reaction. We got to get together and actually watch the old movie. We're going to do it. You know we are.
It is technically a comic book film, so it would count.
So, yeah.
Yeah, so...
Anyway.
Yeah, the movie just basically goes off, and it doesn't... It occasionally will tell you time era and then play the music that's supposedly from that time area,
except they kept doing it. They kept getting the decades wrong, and the music
putting 70s stuff inside of the 50 scenes.
The music was like an entire decade later than what the time period actually was.
There was one point where they were like recording a song and they're like, yeah, this is awesome, it's good, and I'm just sitting, me and Steve being music majors are just sitting there, this is a decade before it was supposed to be good. I get that you're trying to make him out to be some kind of like super genius rock star and whatnot, but you can't have him recording some kind of funk rock tune or having him play 90s solo guitar, I'm gonna serenade you crap inside of the 1950s or 60s, because they don't tell you when the hell they are. I mean, don't get me wrong, the songs themselves actually weren't that bad, whoever was playing Ryan Wade, the main character, he is, from what I know, he was an actual Elvis impersonator, and it really does show. He sounds great, and I want to hear more from him. He's not that bad of a singer. Put him inside of something like Jersey Boys. I would love that.
Jersey Boys. Wow.
I don't think he can do the accents, but I mean, he's got the voice to sing. I mean, put him in something that he sings in.
Wow.
But Oh, that's...
Another thing to point out that I was rolling on the floor about was I'm not a fan of child actors, and when they're showing young Ryan Wade with this ma and pa, his pa is the preacher, and the kids have to stand up in front of people, and it's just like this extremely awkward situation. And I was like, I hate public speaking, and goddamn, if I had to do that, I would just
in front of your dad.
in front of your dad, who is the town preacher. My God, I would die right there. And also, I hate child actors, like I just said. And when he starts singing, that is not how you would sing in that time period.
Yeah, no, what was happening is that he was trying to recite a scripture for, I assume, kind of a primary type thing.
Yeah, and so
and he can't
to make
remember,
himself,
so he's trying to...
Yeah, he's trying to put a beat to it, and then to like help himself remember it. And then he starts singing it, and his dad thinks that's the devil's music or whatever, and he sings like Justin Bieber.
No joke. He actually starts singing with wails, curves, and shakes and vibrato that most professional singers
think they can do, but end up auto-tuning themselves instead.
Yeah, I mean, this kid sounds like Justin Bieber without auto-tune. It wasn't horrible. I'm not going to make it sound like that, because he sings better than Justin Bieber. He's actually a legitimately good singer for a child actor, but his style is Justin Bieber in a nutshell, and it is just distracting. It's distracting. How are you supposed to take this any form of serious? And this movie tries to play it off as serious.
Right.
I know that we usually have a structure of mentioning the good and then going into the bad, but this is a crappy movie, and most all of it is bad.
The only thing good was when we were actually seeing it and just having a great time, because we knew full well going into it was going to be a shitty movie.
It was gonna be a shitty movie. This is a really fun one to riff on, although there's really some questionable stuff in the beginning about selling the baby to this preacher. And yeah, she hands him an envelope. I don't know if there's actual money inside of it. I don't really... Okay, if you're actually listening to this movie, the day that they're born, that night, the dad goes to this preacher, and that's when he gets inspired, and he talks to his wife later that night. The next morning, he's called the preacher to give the kid 1 day. 1 day. And it's too much to raise 2 kids on our Great Depression era budget.
Right.
I get that it's you gotta at least try. You gotta at least try. More than 1 day. I know that they were trying to go for the Elvis Presley, his twin brother died when they were really, really young, all that kind of stuff, for the Elvis fan fiction. But 1 day. 1 day, and they sell the baby. If there was really money in that envelope, I swear to God.
Yeah.
And then, the faked funeral. They actually fake a funeral for the kid, Ryan, when they give it to the pastor, and say that, oh, he only lived for 1 day, and they were too poor to afford an actual coffin, so they had to put him inside of a shoebox, but only the parents knew that the shoebox was empty.
I'm like, did we just walk into a Frank Miller film? God damn.
All in black and white, the girls have no say, and there's the senator who's cheating on his wife. Yeah, but it's... Why did they fake the funeral? I mean, this is dumb even for bad movie sake. Why not just say that you put him up for adoption? Right. Why not say that this pastor has agreed to adopt the baby, being that we can't care for him? And they kept cutting back to the parents and how we understand it was a difficult decision for you inside of Decatur, Alabama. Yeah, the beginning part kind of made me mad a little.
Yeah, it was stupid.
Yeah, it could have been. It could have been a lot better. Okay, this movie could have been a lot better. Don't make it.
Yeah. Exactly. Make it an Elvis film. If you want to make an Elvis fan fiction about him having a twin brother, supporting the fact that people have actually seen him walking around.
Yeah, that actually be kind of hilarious.
Walking into this movie when he said it was Elvis, I'm like, I'm totally gonna make a Men in Black reference here. So
He only went home.
yeah.
Oh, but no, when I actually went inside of this, I thought it was about Elvis.
Yeah.
I really did think it was about Elvis.
Yeah.
And some kind of weird alternate reality. And then when we finally realized that it's about Drexel and Ryan, which one's Elvis? I don't know. But nah, the lookalike contest was the one that just had us kind of laughing a little bit.
Before that, I want to talk about when they're like supposedly 18 and we bring in Seth Green's character as the bad boy friend who, you know,
Who smokes CGI smoking guitar cigarettes.
Cigarettes, drinks beer. The smoke is entirely CGI. And they go to this
Badly CGI.
Drexel sneaks out against his parents' wishes. Of course,
This is Ryan.
Oh yeah, that's Ryan.
Drexel doesn't show up until later in the movie.
I keep getting them confused. I keep wanting to call him Drexel. Anyway,
It's
Ryan
played by the same person, and they're never on screen together.
Ryan sneaks out against his parents' wishes, obviously, and goes to the honky tonk, and where we meet Seth Green's character as the dopey friend whose name escapes me.
I didn't catch it yet. I
don't
don't think
care.
it was important enough. We're just gonna call
him Seth
Green.
And
Or Chris.
Chris, wow. Anyway,
Thin Chris.
and Seth Green talks him into going and performing, and felt very Elvis-y to me. And
Okay, there was another movie that did the scene almost exactly the same to that, called Get It On Up, about crap, I can't think of his name. King of Soul. Can't think of his name all of a sudden. And I'm a music major. This is a shame. Damn it. But yeah, there's a scene where they basically took over the club while the other guys are on break. Although in this one, Seth Green pays them, but it's the exact same scene.
Exactly. And then, of course, was that when Seth Green steals his dad's car?
Yeah,
they drive to the honky tonk. He says, Ryan says, "Is this right? Does your daddy know?" He's like, because they call him daddy because they're Southern. He's like, "Does your daddy know?" He's like, "Sure, I do it all the time. Watch." And so he turns it on. I'm like, that's gonna wake him up, and we're gonna have a fight on our hands.
Yeah,
Which it does. And the guy comes running out and says, and starts screaming at him. And they drive to the honky tonk, and apparently he called the cops on him, and so they come in.
This is the weirdest call of Grand Theft Auto we've ever had. I really don't think it's called Grand Theft Auto back in the day.
Traditional Southern sheriffs break in, and I swear the guy that confronts Ryan about it, he knows he's the preacher's son, and it could only be played better by Tommy Lee Jones himself. Which would be another Men in Black reference there. I swear to God, they should have gotten him as a cameo.
They wouldn't have been able to afford him.
Oh my god.
They would not have been able to afford him.
It was just the perfect role for him.
Yeah.
Anyway, and so the party breaks up. I'm pretty sure.
I love the sheriff's line with Seth Green. He's like, "This is the weirdest call of Grand Theft Auto we've ever had." And again, I really don't think that's what that crime was called back in the 1940s or 50s, because I really don't think there was an actual law in place about that yet. But he turns to Seth Green, who's sitting here at the drum set, and he's just like staring at him. "Boy, you can either get arrested, or you can either go to jail, or you can get off that stage and go home. But after speaking with your daddy, I would recommend jail."
That was probably the best line in the movie. Oh my god.
And Seth Green, he just drops his stick
Yeah,
and try to run.
Runs and they catch him. Oh, Seth Green, I love you.
And then they let go of him later on, and he runs again.
Right?
Just so he can get a little thing where he's running by the car that Ryan's in, the main character guy. I'm just gonna call him Elvis. The Elvis is in,
Elvis.
and he's like, "I'm sorry," and runs off.
I'm pretty sure at this point, even at a honky tonk like this, did they have segregation back then?
Yes.
In this time period, yeah.
Yeah, segregation
blacks-
was a big thing.
The blacks and whites. I can't remember what time period we were in at the time.
At the
Because it
time-
doesn't fucking explain it.
It doesn't tell you, but if you had to guess, it's either the late 1940s or the early 1950s, based on what they're wearing and the type of music. This was supposed to be the birth of rock and roll.
Where the men dress like women and the women dress like prostitutes.
Not quite that era. I think that's the 90s. That was in the later part of the film. That was supposed to be a reference to the soul stuff from the 70s and 80s. Never mind. I'm not even going to try to apply musical logic to this because it's not possible.
Fast forward, and everybody looks older except Ryan, Seth Green, and his mother. Holy
Seth Green just looks like they put a wig and a beard on him.
yeah, pretty much.
I'm sorry, he doesn't. He'll always look like that stupid, awkward teenager, except unless you're watching It, where he's legitimately too young for that.
It's true.
But no, it's oh god, this movie is just got. We could sit here and talk about this movie for 2 hours,
Seriously.
which is longer than the running time of this film. I mean, it was enjoyably bad.
We're not gonna pull a Spoonie like you did with this Amazing Spider-Man 2. Holy shit.
We don't want the fans. We can't outrun them. My car doesn't have enough gas.
Of course, Ray Liotta gets a heart attack, but everything seems fine. They could have made it more tragic if he actually died from either from that one or a second heart attack, which I'm pretty sure he should have had.
When he found out his son read the letter from his actual biological dad, which, why the hell did he keep that thing?
Leading to Ryan going to the memorial house of Drexel,
The Dream.
the Dream,
Hemsley.
Hemsley.
You have to say it with the low voice.
The Dream.
Drexel.
Which
The Dream.
I'm pretty sure,
Hemsley.
even if they were closing, which they were closing the place for the day, there would be some kind of security. But no, he just walks in,
What's in? Oh, there's some lady in the corner.
talks to some old lady who
I'm
literally.
sorry, we're closing. Oh, okay. Thanks
Looked
for letting
like-
me in without saying anything.
Yeah, he said where, and then they're like, he had a twin brother, and where
He died when he was very young.
Where's
One day.
Where's the graves? Like back up there on the hill, and then monologue again.
Oh
And
god, there's almost as much narration in this as there was in Sin City.
the biological father, who is old and crippled and apparently loaded because he has a driver and a nice car that says the license plate, The Dream. Either that or The Dream, you know.
Yeah, Drexel dies in a plane crash, by the way.
Yeah.
Very original. I was gonna go for a drug overdose, but then you probably would have everyone screaming, "This is about Elvis!"
Yeah, so you get this semi-touching moment between him and his biological father, which
Who may or may not be blind.
Yeah, it wasn't confirmed.
His eyes looked like they were blind. He had
Yeah.
the contacts for a blind person.
I'm like, if you're blind, why do you take off your sunglasses?
And why was there a scene with you pulling up in the car, rolling down your window, and looking at the building?
Exactly, except to show off the fact that you have cataract lenses in or whatever. And you could totally tell that these graves, he pointed this out. I didn't notice until he pointed it out. The graves of Drexel and Ryan
Are plastic.
they look plastic.
No, they were legitimately plastic. They weren't carved marble. You know, polished marble and unpolished marble have very distinct looks, and you can tell, especially when light hits them. These were plastic graves.
Were they trying to pawn it off as polished marble?
Yes, they were trying to polish it. They were trying to make it look like polished marble, but these graves were completely 100% plastic. If I wanted to take it a step further, I'm pretty sure they bought it from the Spirit Halloween store down the street. Because the shapes actually look like a the one's just like a box, and that's the bigger one that's dedicated to Drexel, the Dream Hemsley, and the smaller one dedicated to the mother and Ryan, the main character's dead baby. Well, it's a dead baby, is actually shaped with a cross on the top and whatnot. They're plastic. They were so totally plastic. I mean, this is like Uwe Boll and his obviously wooden swords inside of freaking Blood Rain. I mean, that's how bad this prop looked. And they're like doing this really cool shot that was legitimately touching. It'd been done before, but it was legitimately good. And then you get the shot of the gravestones in the bottom corner, and I can't even take the goddamn scene seriously because they're plastic. They're totally plastic.
Yeah. Going on, the better part of the movie consists of Ryan with his band, Seth Green included, token black guy,
playing bass with an afro,
of course, and their career as Drexel Hemsley impersonation band.
And they actually do call them the Identical throughout the whole movie.
The Identical.
Oh my God, you're Ryan Wade!
Because someone gets paid $100 every time it comes up.
I have to assume, so it's...
And of course we get the asshole jerk-off agent cliche. He even does, it's like a montage of them performing, counting, like getting their paychecks, and the agent like counting money, and he even does the money throw.
Make it rain! And when they introduced this guy in the beginning of Ryan's career, I swear to God, he's got the freaking comb that you'd see on the jackasses in anime.
He's got the pompadour of Kuwabara from Yu Yu Hakusho, and I'm not kidding.
He's got the comb. I was just waiting for him to pull out the freaking comb and start combing that bad boy. Luckily, when he shows up later, when he's actually made a ton of money off of him and trying to give him this big old lecture about how you're paid to be Drexel Hemsley's impersonator. You're not supposed to make your own stuff.
And I'm dead serious. At a certain angle when he turned, I thought he looked like a skinny version of John C. Reilly. And I thought to myself, you know what? They could have easily gotten John C. Reilly to play this guy. It'd probably be a lot better.
No, he's too high profile.
Now that he's in Guardians of the Galaxy and Wreck-It Ralph.
If this had been 2 or 3 years before, no problem.
Right?
He would have easily taken that paycheck. But no. His logic doesn't make any sense. Why are you pissing off your golden goose who's making you thousands of dollars? Thousands of dollars. All he wants to do is start writing his own stuff.
Right.
Let him write his own stuff. Tell him that he can't work it into the set, but be gentle about it. Tell him, like a real manager would, that we can't work it into the set because they're expecting him. But on these later gigs, and maybe some of the less important ones, we can start doing that. But you're paid to be his impersonator. So I want you to practice his stuff before yours and do yours on your own time. This is what you're paid to do, and this is what your job is. This is what your contract says. What you do outside of there is your own time, but you have to at least do this. He could have worked with him. He could have done so much. Instead, he just does that stupid, angry guy cliche. I literally said right when he walked in on stage, hello, I'm a dick. And that's what he does. He plays dick the entire time. And you'll realize that his arguments are literally flip-flopping on themselves.
Right.
He's worse than the Democrats.
Wow.
Yes, I'm conservative. Fuck you.
I'm undecided and frankly I don't care.
Yeah, but no, it's so as I said, it's so cliched, and we just sat there pointing out these cliches, and it's really fun to watch. It's not worth seeing in theaters unless you really just want to see one of those films that was so bad that you had to ask, how did this make it to the big screen and not direct to DVD? And just to see it on a screen.
Right.
And as we said, there's only one theater within 200 miles of St. George, Utah, in any direction, playing this. And that's in Hurricane, which for most people in the St. George area, yes, it is out of your way. It's about 30 minutes out of your way. I'd almost want to say it's worth it, except for the fact that with our concessions today, he spent a lot. He paid
over
for this.
$40.
Yeah, it was pretty bad. I mean, admittedly, we got our cool cups.
Exactly.
We got our cool cups, and the Infinity Stone killed Rocket.
Rocket never dies. Star-Lord would never do that.
Oh, don't worry. We'll rip him apart and put him back together again. I'm sure he'd love it.
Wow.
But nah, so we should probably wrap this one up because it's pretty simple.
Yeah. All in all, it was a fun time out, but this movie sucks.
It sucks so bad.
It was literally filmed as if it was like Walk the Line.
If it had been about Elvis, or at least had been a what if story with Elvis's name.
Yes.
And if they treat it with a little bit more gravitas.
If you wanna red box it or watch it on Netflix,
if it ever gets
in the near future, I've seen worse movies on Netflix, but like those rip-offs that don't even try anymore.
Atlantic Rim. I wonder what that movie is ripping off.
Don't pay as much money as we did to see it, or as I did rather.
Hey, I pay for most all the other movies. So.
Yeah. Fun time out with friends, get together to bag on a movie. That's about all this movie.
You'll be laughing your ass off inside that theater.
And I'd honestly think I enjoyed Sin City 2 more as a legitimate movie instead of trying to bag on it. That says a lot about how bad this is.
Yeah, all in all, it's horrible, but it's that enjoyable kind. So, if you're going to see it, as I said, only place inside of town. Hurricane, Coral Cliffs, Cinema 8. And, well, let's close this all out.
Yep. Cardmaster's Corner coming soon. Like, comment, subscribe, and we will see you in the next video.
See you all next time.
Bye-bye.